Everyone learns about Rome's fall through barbarian invasions, corrupt emperors, and military defeats. But there's a crucial piece of the puzzle that often gets overlooked: the economic death spiral that made Rome vulnerable to all these other pressures. Rome's leaders accidentally created fiscal policies that weakened the empire from within, and the same economic forces are quietly challenging modern economies today. We're going to show you exactly how these economic decisions contributed to an empire's collapse. Number 1. The tax death spiral. Let's start with something most people never question: where governments get their money. By 235 AD, Rome entered what historians call the crisis of the 3rd century. Military costs were skyrocketing, infrastructure was crumbling, and barbarian raids were increasing. The government's solution? Raise taxes and debase the currency. But here's the brutal reality: when empires become desperate for revenue, they often accelerate their own decline through crushing taxation. Number 2, currency manipulation backfires, but that's only part of the story. When tax revenue wasn't enough, Rome discovered something that seemed like magic. They could create money out of thin air. Roman coins were originally made from pure silver, but emperors began mixing in cheaper metals. A coin that was once 83% silver dropped to 5% silver by 270 AD. Citizens weren't stupid. They knew their money was becoming worthless. Prices exploded as merchants demanded more and more debased coins for the same goods. What took one silver denarius to buy in 100 AD required 50,000 denarii by 300 AD. Imagine waking up tomorrow and your dollar could only buy what a penny bought yesterday. That's what ordinary Romans experienced as their government destroyed their savings through currency manipulation. Number 3. Elite adaptation and transformation. This is where everything changes. The wealthy always have options that regular people don't. As Rome's central authority weakened, the elite adapted in various ways. Some relocated to safer regions or invested in distant estates, but many remained in their local areas, transforming from Roman senators and officials into regional strongmen and landowners. Rather than fleeing Roman taxation, they often became the local tax collectors and administrators themselves, filling the power vacuum left by weakening central government. This transformation of Roman elites into medieval aristocracy was a gradual process of adaptation rather than exodus. Number 4. Military spending trap. And that's only scratching the surface. Rome faced what modern economists call the security dilemma. The more threatened you feel, the more you spend on military, but military spending weakens your economy, which makes you more vulnerable to threats. Roman military expenses typically consumed 50 to 60% of the imperial budget. Number 5. Roman military and trade integration. Rome's strength came from integrating military conquest with extensive trade networks. The Roman military secured territories and trade routes, enabling merchants to operate safely across a vast empire stretching from Britain to the Middle East. While the empire functioned as a large economic zone with standardized currency and protected shipping, direct trade connections to distant places like China were limited, occurring mainly through intermediary traders along established routes like the Silk Road. Number 6. The complex fall of Rome. The fall of the Western Roman Empire was a gradual process involving multiple factors. While some barbarian groups did integrate peacefully, and Romans sometimes found barbarian rule preferable due to lower taxes, military conquest and political pressure were equally important. Barbarian kingdoms like the Visigoths and Vandals took territory through warfare, though they often adopted Roman administrative practices afterward. The transformation was neither purely military nor purely economic. but a complex mix of conquest, negotiation, and gradual change. Number 7. Diocletian's bureaucratic expansion. Diocletian's reforms led to a significant expansion of imperial bureaucracy. He created new administrative positions to manage price controls, taxation, and trade regulation. The imperial civil service grew substantially during the late imperial period, though precise employment statistics comparing government to private sector work are not available from ancient sources. Number 8. Economic parallels and differences. While some economists point to broad parallels between Roman economic challenges and modern ones, such as fiscal pressures, currency debasement, and administrative expansion, the comparison has significant limitations. Rome operated with precious metal currency and had limited monetary tools compared to modern central banking systems. Today's economies face similar pressures like budget deficits and bureaucratic growth, but within fundamentally different institutional frameworks, including democratic oversight, global markets, and sophisticated financial instruments that didn't exist in antiquity. Number 9. The complex fall of Rome. The fall of the Western Roman Empire was a complex process involving multiple interconnected factors. While economic challenges like debasement of currency, heavy taxation, and fiscal strain contributed to the empire's weakening, the ultimate collapse came through barbarian invasions, military defeats, and political fragmentation. The Visigoths sacked Rome in 410 AD, the Vandals in 455 AD, and Germanic chieftain Odoacer deposed the last Western Roman emperor in 476 AD. Economic problems weakened the empire's ability to respond to these external threats, but military and political factors were the decisive elements in the final collapse. Rome's collapse wasn't a sudden catastrophe. It was a slow-motion train wreck that took centuries to complete. The scariest part? Every step of their economic death spiral seemed reasonable at the time. If you found this breakdown eye-opening, there are more financial blind spots you need to know about. The patterns that destroyed Rome are playing out right now in ways most people can't see coming.